everybody, and welcome to the fifth edition of LM's Investopedia, our knowledge series to cover new ideas, new concepts relating to the markets, stock ideas, etc. So, joining me today is the senior management personnel of Latin Manhalal Group, Mr. Bhavin Shah. Welcome to the show. And as we always tend to come out with some new innovative concepts, trying to bring clarity on the conceptual idea itself as well as the stock ideas which are related to the same. Today we are covering an area called amusement parks. So any city in the world, you take different aspects of activity, whether it is commercial, residential, institutional, and entertainment. So when we talk about entertainment, it covers various facets. They could be relating to different types of organizational setups like cinema halls or multiplexes. This is the most common idea which we have about entertainment, but there are different dimensions to all this. We tend to have planetariums, we have oceanariums, we have cultural centers, we have auditoriums, and at the same time we also have amusement parks. Now these are all essential parts or fabric of society, and today of course in this topic we will come to the amusement park straight away, and we'll be covering a company called the Wonderla Holidays. And we'll be discussing it in a little bit detail. But prior to that, again coming back to the concept of amusement parks, our earliest knowledge or our earliest idea about amusement parks is about Disney. When we hear that in the US, in Hong Kong particularly, the Disney parks, which are very, very famous. And I think the earliest from an Indian perspective, what we remember or recall about the amusement parks is the Apugar, which was set up in Delhi at the time when the Asiad Games were held. And that time it was a very novelty concept. It was a novel idea, and slowly that gained acceptance in India, in the commercial capital of the country, that is Mumbai. We had two parks which are set up simultaneously, which were the SL World, which is of the Z Group, and we had Fantasyland, which was set up in the city. So gradually across the city, we had across the country rather, I would say, we had a lot of amusement parks which were set up, water parks which were set up, and there are a lot of rides over there where people try to have a holistic concept of entertainment. They visit the place, they enjoy the rides over there, they have a good time, they unwind. At the same time, in some cases there is also the concept of resort being attached to these parks, so people can relax over there and spend a time over there. So a lot of exciting concepts which have come up in this entire amusement park space, where I think Bhavin Shah will throw some more light on Wonderla Holidays and at the same time on the amusement park concept. So Bhavin, kindly take us ahead on this wonderful topic.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you, Nirav. Hello, everybody. Again, we are back, like Nirav mentioned, with some concept or something different to kind of hear about from our day-to-day stocks and markets and the volatility and stuff, that what we are, how we are witnessing the change in a lot of things conceptually. Like Nirav just mentioned, that how earlier in the olden days, the generations before us, we had the amusement parks like, Apugar, for example. Then it evolved from Apugar to like a SL World and or Fantasyland, and now we have parks like Imagicas and Wonderlas and all of these. So if we go to see and finally observe that what is the kind of change and the change in pattern or the change in requirements, or how the generation after generation looks at such kind of parks as a necessity, as entertainment, as getting active onto the adventures. Also, over a period of time, if you go to see, all these thing has kind of now becoming a package. That along with the there is one area land parcel where you have entertainment, for example, like the adventures, where on an average there will be about 30-40 odd rides given at a time at one amusement park. Then you have the water rides and a water parks sort of a thing. Then they have the combination of the amazing varieties of foods and beverages available. So if a person is coming there, they can easily spend a day or two. Along with the food and beverages, there is an accommodation facility, like good higher brand hotels, the luxuries, everything is being provided for all kind of category of people, audiences. Then they've been adding and making banquets, where any kind of celebrations, weddings, or any outdoor offsites or concerts, musical events, all of these kind of things are. So if we go to see what we had earlier as an amusement park and what we have today at the same place in the same premise, so the change in pattern, it is attracting a lot of different kind of crowd, different purposes to visit such parks and places. So what has happened, that if you go to see now from a company or a investment perspective, these kind of companies, right, who's got that expertise, like Wonderla, like Imagikas, who've got an expertise over the years, they have evolved, they have been able to adopt these changes, what they need to integrate and incorporate at such premises and the land parcel, where they've been able to add the multiple areas where it can ultimately lead to revenue generation, at different times. Because for adventures and parks, not all the time 365 days people are going to travel. It's going to be a seasonal thing, right? So when you say most of the times are the vacation times for the kids, or some of the nearing festival times, weekends are there, such times will be more prone, where people are going to come there for amusement parks and adventures. Then you have round the season, keeping aside the monsoon season, rest of the times there might be some concerts, there might be some corporates, there might be some wedding seasons, all of these. So it's ultimately leading to that different kind of how they can sustain, run and add revenues throughout the year. So these are the different ways that a revenue generation model that is getting created. And if we go to see pre-COVID and post-COVID, the footfalls that these amusement parks are witnessing are, if you go to see, like Nirav mentioned about the stock, you mentioned about the Wonderla, for example. In this 9 months, there has been a footfall of almost 25 lakh people.
More than 25 lakh people.
More than 25 lakh people.
Yes.
And if we go to see, on an average, they've been, putting the number as on an average 1200 rupees per person revenue to the park. Yeah. Now there are multiple parks. Wonderla, for example, they've got multiple locations, Cochin, Hyderabad, Bangalore, and they are now in that zone to expand over MP and other states, right? So they have been seeing that cash flow. They've been able to expand. There has been a pent-up demand also post-COVID, where people want to travel, and they've been able to increase their budgets and spend more on what is required with the second and third generation. So I think overall as a theme, it can be looked at. We can keep a close watch and monitoring on the stock. Numbers, of course, there has been a track record of this company in terms of numbers and results. So we've been monitoring the numbers as well. As and when it's the right time, given the uncertainty in the market at the moment, but we can always keep the stock on the watch list. And I'm sure eventually, with the addition and the expansion taking place, it should result out in a good this thing, and it's a good space that is building up, because in the listed space, as amusement parks and all that, you don't have too many options. One or two stocks like Wonderla or Imagica, for example, are where also they are getting that benefit of the advantage. So I think this is one space that we can look at. Like always, if you go to see, we've been covering different concept stocks like vineyards and logistics and hotels, tourism and stuff. So this is one space that directly, indirectly, somewhere it is relating, because people do travel and there are staycations concept which has come up since COVID. So it's a good getaway with kids, with family, for the adventures, parks, and a good stay, food and facilities like merchandising and everything also adds a lot of revenue to them. So I think we can always keep a close watch and monitoring, and keep it on our watch list. At the right time, with the valuations and with the improving market scenarios, we can always have this one small theme as a percentage of allocation in the overall portfolio scheme. Rest, I think more Nirav can also highlight in case of any specifics on the stock. And so that's the broad, our observations as we keep traveling and commuting and keep talking to a lot of people.
Yeah, thanks, Bhavin. So I think, yes, as rightly pointed out, the potential seems to be immense. And with three amusement parks already there in place, well established, Kochi, Hyderabad and Bengaluru, now is the time for expansion. So I think already the groundbreaking ceremony has been done in Odisha. So there, the next amusement park is going to come up in Odisha, and active discussions are going on with Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh and Punjab governments for setting up amusement parks in those states also. So this is one thing. Secondly, once you have acquired the land, once the equipment is there in place, all you need is the footfalls basically.
Right.
And as rightly pointed out, 25 lakh visitors, and with an average revenue per user of 1200 rupees, the revenue has already crossed 300 crores, and the operating margin has been in excess of 50%. The PAT margin, which is the profit after tax, is in excess of 30%.
Wow.
That means the company has in the first 9 months of its operations already crossed 100 crores in terms of net profits. That means all this money is in all likelihood it will be plowed back into the business. It will be used for aggressive expansion strategy. So I think a good stock to watch out for could be a concept stock in the making. But having said that, not all are success stories. We also discussed Imagica, and Imagica, right from the time it got listed, the Imagica Park went into a debt crisis. They were not able to service their debt. They also had a hotel attached to it called Novotel. And I think recently there was a change in management. There was a Malpani group which owns about 4 to 5 other water parks. They have acquired this listed company Imagica, and the stock has also rallied from 15 rupees to 16 rupees levels to currently near 35 40 levels. And this could be an interesting turnaround story in the times to come. So watch out for this space. Wonderla holidays as well as Imagica. Lots many things to discuss, but time constraints do not permit us. But we hope to get back to you very soon with some new and interesting concepts. So finally, I'll hand over to Bhavin for the concluding remarks.
Sure. So thank you guys. Keep watching us, and we'll keep closing with such concept and different ideas that we can get interested into watching them. And happy investing. We are all available here in case of anything. You can get in touch with at the website or at the LM's representative at different branches or locations. Thank you very much. Happy investing.
Thank you.